right, we're on.
You ready to go?
George, would you lead us off in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Listen, all those years in high school, you oughta.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wooten, you always break up the cadence of that.
Because I don't pause between one nation under God.
All right, George, come on up, Grangeville Park kiosk.
Mr. Bartnick, how are you?
I'm good, John. How are you doing?
Good.
This is the idea for a kiosk in Grangeville Park that would be a recognition of the efforts of Bob Conklin and the Peconic River Fish Restoration Commission, their efforts in getting
The ladder.
fish ladder in.
Yeah, there was some job.
What we should do is, instead of a kiosk, dedicate that pump house that D-Moon has really never done anything with. We're gonna have
Well,
to,
that's another idea that we could talk about that
we need to
too.
probably take that
Wait,
license
Do you
back.
want one of these?
George, don't we have a plaque there for him?
Yeah, on the rock.
This, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's, yeah, there is a, you know, if you really look for it. So what would happen is this is being prepared by Bill Allen, Minuteman Press. He put this display together here for you guys, give him credit for what he's done so far. And he would make the actual plaque that would go in the kiosk. So one side would be this this information about the fish ladder and how what preceded the official fish ladder and the current the old sluiceway, which was for the Griffing Water Tower. If you know that, probably that where the sluiceway is now originally was where the fish ladder is. That was the sluiceway for the water for the power for the water tower. And on the other side of the kiosk would be the information about the Griffing Water Tower, just a little history of the area. This is where I met with Ernesto from engineering, and he and I came to terms with where it would be located. Hi, Jody, how are you today?
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
Was this, how much of this was a tower of water?
I'm not
Contained
really sure how much of the tank was in the construction
Oh,
itself,
okay,
but it
yeah.
must have been a huge tank. And I did some, I mean, everybody knows when this tower was built. I had a heck of a time trying to find out what happened to the tower when it was dismantled after the Griffing family gave the park to the town of Riverhead. And apparently, it came down right after the town was given the property. And I finally found that it was sold for scrap for $710.
Ugh.
Now, of course, what that meant is the town wasn't responsible for paying for people for taking it down. It was an outfit from apparently Hampton Bays. They were given $710, and you take out of whatever you can in the tower to
Probably, the bricks are probably part of a roadbed somewhere, and,
who knows what happened to the tank.
It was actually wooden.
was it?
It was actually a wood tank,
It
wood,
was painted to look like it was.
yeah.
What year was it taken down?
1948.
You don't remember it, do you? Ian? I don't
No.
remember that.
Let me hold on to this, Diana, in case there's questions about it.
Long after 48.
Yeah, no, when, as I said that, I thought that was,
John was away at college then. John was a cop.
No, not dead. I'm trying to figure out,
we gotta figure out what to do with that pump house, because we gave that license to Dee. She put the shutters on it, was supposed to do something, it did absolutely nothing with it.
if you didn't do anything.
No, we're either gonna have to cancel that license and try to put it out to RFP to somebody else, because she was supposed to do stuff, she never did anything with it.
I think she tried a couple times. Oh, I see where the kiosk is going. Hold on, successful.
I never saw anything. You saw it open?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was there a couple times or a few times.
She would bring like sandwiches and stuff over from the
Never seen it.
restaurant
I
and
saw that
sold
one.
hats and sunglasses and stuff like that. But I think that there's a lot more awareness that Grangeville Park is there and how, I see a lot more people using the park. So it might be a good time to put it back out for RFP, Sean.
When Conifer gets built, that park is gonna be
Yeah.
completely, very, very popular, I'm sure.
We have to move the series over.
I'm okay with it, so what do we need to
Okay.
do?
So
Just a
everybody
town board
guess that's it?
resolution, unless you can think of a way to incorporate the pump house into it, then a kiosk, who's gonna build the kiosk? Us?
It's being built right now. The town is building the
Whether you like it or
kiosk.
not.
And I'm taking care of paying for the display itself. I'll take care of that.
That's very nice of you.
Very nice.
Yes.
So,
And who's building the kiosk? B&G?
so we don't even need a town board resolution.
It's already being built
Being
and
done.
everything.
I mean,
Well,
we could do a
no, I-
resolution to memorialize it if you'd like, but if not,
I
we'll
don't
just,
care. I don't care.
Well, we should accept it when it's, when it's up.
I guess so.
It's a gift.
Well, it's not really a gift, we're building it.
Well, he's donating all the stuff.
And you're gonna install
For
it.
our park.
Any questions about where it's gonna be located or anything? No.
That's just as you were coming in past the, well, those tables aren't there anymore.
No, they're not. This is an old aerial.
This is an old picture.
Tables are gone, but what Ernesto and I decided it would be good to have it kind of out of the way of the path
Right.
going to the park. So that's where it would be located, kind of off to the side of the foundation. That's the actual foundation that you're looking at there for the water tower.
Is that
That
right?
That's
That
where
square. You see where the arrow points to?
Yeah.
And just to the left of that is the actual remains of the foundation for the water tower.
Wow, I always thought the water tower was over there. That's interesting. I didn't realize it was that.
Pump
close.
station is right behind it then, just to the north of it.
So what was the water tower?
This
This
is the
square?
yeah, this is the water tower right here,
It's superimposed over the pumps?
Right
Oh,
here.
over here.
right here. This
Oh,
was the
okay.
water tower is
I didn't
built
realize it was
on
that close to
this
the side.
square right here.
And the part of the foundation is exposed still there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Well, that's it, gang.
All right, well, good
Okay,
work, thank you.
Thank you, George. Very good.
Let's
Doing
get
a
her
good
done.
job, George.
You should, I'll say this now, and
Take it
it
all.
might be something you're interested in. At 12 o'clock, there's a National
yeah,
Grid's having a
design,
press
design.
conference, and something you might be interested in going to. A couple years back, not even, maybe a year ago, National Grid came to us and said, we want to do a pilot project for, what the heck is it called when you get the water from, you drill the wells into the ground and you pull the warm water up to
Geothermal.
Geothermal, I can't even think of it. So they said, where would you like to do this? And they were looking for other communities, and I said, no, I think it would be great to do the geothermal park, and I think the Stark
this is where the
mobile home park would be the perfect place, because you have common ownership, and what they did was, anybody that was involved with it, I think they hooked up about a half dozen homes, got a completely new HVAC system, so it was a benefit to the park, and it was a benefit to the homeowners. So Brian jumped right on it, so we will have our first multi-unit geothermal project, and they're showcasing it today at 12 o'clock, and I think it's by the Bocce Ball Park in Glenwood Village. So you might be interested in doing that, seeing that. It's pretty cool. I haven't seen it, but you will at 12.
Great.
Okay,
The best.
North Fork Brewery special permit. Is anybody here from the applicant? Come on up, guys. You don't have beards, how could you be brewers? Greg, are you sure you're not
We
working?
asked them the same thing at the
They're not wearing
planning session.
flannel, no beards.
I can't even,
Not everybody can grow a beard.
You bring a
then they
sample?
can't brew beer.
You bring a sample?
I
Yeah,
think
you
they're
can
gonna
have
do
samples.
just fine.
I'm an IPA guy, so.
I think we got that in our wheelhouse. All right, good morning, members of the board. We've got a special permit application to construct a microbrewery and associated tasting room and retail space.
Is that the,
Yes.
Yeah. I emailed you guys a copy of this
Yeah.
earlier in the week as well.
Yep.
The location is the former Second Street Firehouse. Zoning district is DC1. Microbreweries are a specially permitted use within the district. Surrounding uses to the firehouse, you have commercial businesses operating in converted single-family residences. You've got single-family and two-family residences to the north and south across Second and Third Street, and converted single-family residences to the east of the site. SECRA was done on it, it's a type 2 action, no further environmental review is required. I'll keep it, the staff report kind of touched on everything, I'll just sum up the important points. The one thing was that a condition of the special permit is that they shall not be used for food preparation or restaurant unless they receive a certificate of occupancy. So a condition of a special permit approval should include,
You understand that you have to get a different permit from us if you're gonna food prep?
Yeah.
Is it zoned for a restaurant on Second Street?
I'd have to find out. I'm not-
Or what, you don't know what the zoning is?
It's DC1.
DC
Oh,
one, so
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
made
so
it
basically-
DC one.
Yeah. So you can basically serve like prepackaged food,
You have to
pretzels,
get a
chips, and
permit.
stuff like
For
that.
the 5-story.
You'd have to get a full permit from the health
Five-story
department with
brewery.
a 3-compartment sink and a hand wash sink
Right.
and lockers for the
It says that in
employees
there.
and
It
all
doesn't
that other
say
stuff.
Right.
If you wanted to do a restaurant.
We put that parcel in DC1.
All right, all of the square footage requirements in terms of manufacturing and processing space and retail space comply with the requirements of the code. They will need to enter into a monitoring agreement with the Riverhead Sewer District for the flow and the usage. That will be a condition of special permit approval. The one thing that they won't be able to comply with the requirements of the special permit was that the code says that all loading areas shall be located in the rear of the building. Due to the layout of the building and the fact that they're not proposing any new modifications to it, the loading would have to take place through the front of the building.
There's a big apron there, anyway.
Yeah.
Did you see this staff report already?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we read it over.
Adequate provisions made for emergency conditions, they will need building permits and fire marshal permits. So both of those departments will need to be satisfied with regards to egress and ingress.
You understand the monitoring, you can't just send slugs of your processed waste into the sewer. You understand that you'll have to bleed that in?
Yes, yeah.
Met with Michael Reichel yesterday just to confirm the process for the monitoring agreement.
Right, good.
And you discussed the sewer district rates also, because you know that the water consumption, that the sewer charges are based on your water usage?
Yes,
So you have
yeah.
an idea as to how much it's gonna cost you? Okay.
The site's located within the Riverhead Parking District, so they're not required to provide parking on the site. There is an adjacent lot just to the west, which is owned by the town of Riverhead, that would likely be utilized for patrons of the establishment.
That's a municipal parking lot.
Yeah, correct. There was a component of the conditions at consideration with regards to special setback, coverage requirements, easements, or right-of-way. There's no necessary yard or height requirements, however, the town board may consider imposing restrictive covenants on the hours of operation of the brewery, as well as the use of the outdoor space.
So that's the only question I have. Are you guys okay with that? That we don't want you having,
Open till 2 o'clock in the morning and?
Yeah, I mean, the New York State Liquor Authority dictates when we applied, and we knew we could only be open till 1, but our plans are not to do that, because things just happen terribly after that. Like, you run a risk of a lot of other things going on. Our goal was always like a noon to 9 PM.
Okay, because it is in a residential neighborhood, so, and there are also businesses mixed in, obviously, so we would want to take a look at that. And then also,
that's one of the recommendations for covenant. So if we put a covenant on the property, what would the covenant would be 9 o'clock? Is that what because you wouldn't be allowed to be open past that?
you could be by Chapter 255 application if you were having a special event there and you wanted to stay open later, but,
Right. The two of us have always just looked at the 9 PM as the cutoff
Okay.
for ourselves. I do know there's another brewery that's, looking to operate on that building
Yeah,
too.
Longbeard,
but-
right?
Yeah, Longbeard, but for us, we had always anticipated a 9 PM.
Probably gonna be, whatever you guys dictate, is probably gonna be dictated for the
To
whole.
them too.
To them too.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're comfortable with 9 PM.
And really, no outdoor, you should go right to the recommendation page, Jody, that's the outdoors,
Subsurface grilling.
Yeah.
using the outside for,
no outdoor music.
Yeah, no outdoor music. I brew at Mustache, so I'm aware of kind of certain things.
they have a
that-
nice IPA,
Yeah.
APA.
Yeah, we do pretty good there. They, So I'm aware of kind of
What's the difference between an IPA and an APA?
what's the difference?
Yeah.
The amount of hops typically that are used. And-
APA is more like a pale ale then?
Exactly.
My
Yeah, you'll have
favorite
more
was Long
maltiness.
Island's pale ale, they discontinued it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. You gotta talk to Greg and Dan, get them to
I
bring it
have
back.
talked to them.
We were pretty much under the assumption that because of where we're located, that outdoor music was gonna be most likely a no-go. We had talked about, as far as, that doesn't dictate what we can do inside the building, correct? I mean, if we
No.
want a nice acoustic set or something like that going on.
That's right,
Yeah,
but
as
you'll
long
still
as-
be subject to the noise ordinance from the
Right.
property line, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're aware of that. And
And music, just so we're in all clear understanding, this is performed music, correct?
As
Or-
opposed to what?
As opposed to
Yeah.
like
CD
a
or-
radio or.
Outside?
No,
Yeah.
outdoor.
Yeah, we wouldn't
Oh,
want
outdoor,
it, yeah, we
No.
wouldn't
Oh,
want
okay.
that. But you don't really have a place to be except that pad in the
No.
front.
right.
Right.
I would imagine, where's your front door gonna be, right in, coming up where's your front door?
The front door is just to the east of that garage door. There's a front door
Okay.
there that part of it goes up
Goes
the stairs
upstairs.
to the
Yep.
office.
You could do the main door that's already there.
Yeah, I know it's, because of the building and the historic piece to it or whatever, I know we're pretty limited on what we can do externally, so we're using what's there
Right.
now.
So I think if we say no outdoor music, we mean you could have a band and stuff inside. but
Yeah, no
Yeah.
speakers.
Whether
Or
live
no
or speakers,
speakers.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
it's just
No
there are-
speakers outside.
It is still a residential area.
Yeah,
It may not always be a residential area, but it is now.
and we're comfortable with that.
Okay.
I provided you guys with a picture. This is the only outdoor work that's being proposed to the building. They're gonna run 2 vent pipes out of an existing window frame, up to the roof to vent it. Those are the only modifications to the building. The one thing I did notice when I did a site visit is an unscreened dumpster behind the building. I would just recommend that it be screened with a 6-foot stockade fence pursuant to town code.
Should be
How
anyway.
big is that dumpster?
Is that
and
your
it
dump? Is that
adequate
gonna be
enough
yours?
for 2
or-
buildings?
It's not clear, it is
I think
long.
we should have the owner do it then. It should be on the own.
Right, it's not
owner.
your,
Where on the site plan is that dumpster going, Greg?
It's in the back of the building. There wasn't really a site plan prepared, but it's in the back of the building. If you're on Second Street, it's to the northeast.
so you will need a dumpster,
If you look at the map you provided, that dumpster currently sits right about here.
and that's where you're proposing to put your dumpster too, I guess.
We would most likely, that's where we would build a fence large enough to house ours and theirs, and.
Yeah, they're gonna get stuck with that because it's gotta be screened. You can talk to your landlord, but
Right.
he's supposed to have it screened too.
So you're gonna have 2 dumpsters and it's gonna be abutting a residential property. Is this residential use here, Greg?
Yes.
Okay, so are we proposing any landscaping or any solid fence there so that the neighbors don't have to see the dumpsters?
There is existing landscaping behind it that buffers the residential property.
What type of fence is there? Is it a stockade? Is it a chain link?
I believe it's a chain link.
Okay, so,
That's where the fire department keep their oil, was over there.
so
Well,
maybe slats in the chain link fence might be appropriate so that the neighbors don't have to look at a dumpster?
There's a
Instead
dumpster
of
currently there
stockade
now?
fence, you
Yeah.
can't see it.
Well,
he
in the,
said it's chain
he's talking-
link.
the,
That's the
I would
existing
rec,
fence.
yeah, the
They're
existing fence
recommending
is chain link, recommending a
stockade to go
stockade
around it.
around it. to screen
Yeah,
it.
it's wooded. It's wood.
Yeah, stockade is wood.
Well, yeah,
I don't know who
Wooded
owns
right
the
now.
woods,
I don't know if it will be in the wintertime.
I know.
probably that office building that's next to them.
I'm not saying anything.
Is
I mean,
there,
I can look further
Did you
into
look
that,
at
we can
neighbor?
clarify that,
I
and
know.
get everything.
my only question, is there odors associated with the brewing that might infiltrate the neighborhood?
No, I mean, when you're brewing, there might be a small amount of, well, it smells like a bakery almost when you're,
Oh, well, that's pleasant,
right, it's like making a giant batch of oatmeal, so,
but hot,
yeah, but nothing
cooking
offensive of
hops
that
isn't
nature.
very.
Well, if you think
pleasing.
about it, mustaches in a residential area too, I don't think we've ever had complaints. So
No,
it's,
we never did, no.
That's all I'm care about.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, beyond the restricting the hours and the outdoor music and the screening of the dumpster.
So that's what we're gonna tell you, you're gonna have to build a stockade fence around the dumpster. Pursuant to the code, you're gonna have to obviously talk to your landlord, because we're gonna wanna, are we gonna do it by restrictive covenant, or are we gonna do it just by,
Special permit.
site plan approval?
I mean, I would do it by covenants.
So you're gonna have to talk to your landlord about restrictive covenant on the hours of brewing and the outdoor, which is, anybody that's gonna come in is gonna have the same covenant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, make sure Mr. Castaldi's okay with that, because if he's not, then there's larger problems for you, not necessarily for us, but, so we're gonna approve it subject to those things,
Okay.
okay?
I still think that there should be something along this fence line separating the commercial district from the residential district.
So there should be a fence around the dumpster.
Around the
Then it's
dumpster,
not doing the front, they're gonna do
but
the
these
whole
people,
thing.
there's gonna be parking all on here on Third Street for everybody that's leaving the brewery, and I just think that there should be a separation from the commercial district to the residential district. Look at
Well, there's gonna
the
be,
aerial.
I know, I understand that, but there's gonna be two breweries, and the owner of the building is renting the rest of the building out. So, and that's a municipal parking lot there.
I know it is.
So, it should be shared by all three of them, not just these people here.
It should be the
It
owner's.
it should be a shared,
Probably ours.
This is a commercial
it
business
is our
here.
property.
This is not, because this is the outline. So this section is not. So perhaps slats in this fence, and then we can continue the slats on our property, just to separate the commercial
Around it, put it
from the residential.
all the way around it instead of just three sides.
Because otherwise, you're gonna have people going out to their cars, they're gonna be talking, they're going to be talking about what a great time they had at your brewery, and I
That's what
just
she's
think,
talking about there, but we own here,
I think
we have to pay
currently,
for this.
this resident does have a fence
Oh, this is
along
ours.
his property.
Yeah, this is ours
it's a
here.
stockade
They
fence.
would be,
I think
they
it's
would
not.
be
I think it's
responsible
the chain link,
here,
that
It
is,
is.
the town would
that
have
has
to do
brush
it
over it and whatnot.
Thank you.
Huh?
So I don't know.
Who's this?
Hey, crazy.
Go out and take a look at it.
Huh?
But obviously, we would be responsible for this
Yeah,
section,
we'd have to
and
build
then,
this fence
Yeah,
here.
so
from
they'd
here
be
to here.
responsible for this fence, the town would have to replace that for that.
but they're saying that the owner has a fence and there's like, brush
They're
that's
not
going
complaining
over the
about
fence,
parking when the
so
fire,
I'll go
nobody
take a look at
complained
it,
about
but-
parking when the fire department was there.
Correct.
Yeah, but it's different from men leaving the firehouse, going into their cars, than people
Well, they had
leaving a
big parties
brewery
at the,
and going.
they had big parties at the firehouse.
Okay.
Later party. These guys gonna be closed by 9 o'clock.
Okay, so then you don't support having separation of the commercial district from the residential, but I do.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay, so
So
you're
that we
gonna,
have to, so the restricted, just to go back quickly to the piece about us being open till 9 and that piece, that's dictating the entire building, so no matter what
Yeah,
other
it's gonna-
tenant goes in upstairs, or the building, the whole building is the 9
Well, for
PM.
no, for this, no.
For the retail,
for
the tasting, you know,
for
if
the
you guys are
tasting.
doing brewing
Yeah.
overnight, there's no issue with that, but, you know,
Right.
He's saying for Longbeard. Can Longbeard stay open till 1 o'clock in the morning, but they're restricted till 9?
No.
if we do covenants, it would be on the whole property,
Okay.
which I think that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
We've had other breweries in town which we've covenanted to, 9 PM, so.
Mhm.
If they wanted to brew, that's fine, and if there's office space upstairs, nobody's gonna restrict that, it's just gonna be
The
like you
public
said,
assembly
the
and the
tasting
tasting.
retail part.
Okay.
Is that a discussion that you'll have to have with the owner as well to
That's
agree
a
on?
discussion you have to have with the owner.
He's gonna be the one signing the covenant, though, so.
Right.
Okay.
And how many feet of, is this, do we know, from the property line down?
I do have a survey.
We have the supply fence with you?
No, because we might want, Jody wants him to put a stockade fence up.
It appears to be about 40 feet on their property.
So we're probably gonna ask you to fence 40 feet.
Yeah, we're talking maybe just slots through the existing chain link fence?
No, a stockade fence.
Along the whole property line?
No, just the 40,
Oh,
oh, they're
just
40
the-
feet.
just
Pieces
the-
of fences,
yeah.
that's,
All right, we're talking about
that's $50.
on this parcel right here.
And that'll enclose the dumpster, so then you don't have to do the enclosure, I
Well,
mean, you'll
doesn't
have to do a
enclose the
fence
dumpster.
enclosure,
Enclose the
like a
dumpster.
chain link fence enclosure in the dumpster, so that people can't get in there and use
Right.
it and stuff like that, but at least it'll separate the backyard of the residential piece next to you from you.
Okay.
All right,
That would
so
probably fall on Bob and.
Yeah, it's a discussion we'd have with our
you have to
landlord.
have with the landlord, and you have to have the discussion about that the brew pub would only be allowed to be open retail tasting till 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
Actually, I think he has fencing from the theater left over, probably.
Buy
He
a
may
nine.
have it.
He had all
That is
that.
true, he may have some
Buy a
more.
9, tip till 10.
All right,
So we're good to, we can schedule a public hearing.
You can
I'll have
schedule a
resolution.
public hearing
All right.
and we'll go forward,
Okay.
but have that conversation, get back to Greg.
Yep.
All right?
What's the name of the business?
North Fork Brewing Company?
Oh, no, now you're established elsewhere, aren't you?
Yeah, we have a hop farm in Peconic, across from Raphael Vineyards. We're over there.
Right, the old Mullen Motors, is that right?
That's, no, that was Greenport Harbor.
They're not as good as you.
Hopefully not.
They have a nice
They don't have the
IPA.
brew crew.
The other side
Right.
IPA.
I
Right.
don't drink beer, strictly vodka.
Use strictly your own hops.
We'll be using all of our own hops, but just logistically in the amount that you need, you
You'll
have
need
to
more.
order them. You
Right.
have to order them, yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
buy John Gonzalez hops?
Well, we know John well. We started at the same time as John, but John's pretty. He's already has contracts signed to a bunch. There's also certain hops that we need to use that legally we can't grow because they're trademarked, and you can only order them from Washington State and those sort of areas. So
Gonna
we'll,
make a wet hop here?
yeah, I mean it's a quick seller. You know, it's nice. It's seasonal, so I'm sure we'll work those in. We just did one at Mustache too, so.
When do you
Sells
plan
well.
to be open?
Well, I mean, really, we're hoping to move through this process as any business tries to, as quick as possible. We're hoping by February to be open. Our equipment gets delivered at the end of December, so we're hoping to move as quick as we can through this to get the structures inside built through and that comes with the building permit piece. So we can get our floors done because we'll have like, $140,000 worth of stainless steel that we need
Yeah.
inside, not outside. So,
Well,
yeah.
we're gonna schedule a public hearing at the next board meeting, and
Cool.
you gotta talk about, there's a couple issues which are not all that significant. Fencing and stockade fence is not all that expensive, and you guys look like you could operate post hole diggers, so.
Yeah, I think we've done it
We have
once
from
or
time to
twice.
time.
You're growing hops, you're putting
Oh, yeah.
posts
Oh,
in
yeah.
for. All right,
Thank you,
sounds like a
guys.
plan.
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Right,
Thank you
stay
very
for
much.
the solar code, which
So Greg, the covenant would be, till 9 o'clock would be exclusive for the breweries.
We would probably say the public access tasting room hours shall cease no later than 9 p.m.
Okay.
That's what I would word it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, real quick.
Thank
when
you.
will
Nice
be the,
meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well. When will be the meeting that you'll set our public hearing for?
November
meeting you.
8th, I think, is our board meeting.
Okay.
So November 8th, and if we could do it the first board meeting, second board meting in November, we will. I don't know about the timing.
Yeah, it might be
issue.
the first meeting in December.
Might be the
Will we
first
do it then?
Tuesday in December.
Okay.
Because we have posting requirements.
Thank you
So,
very much.
all right, thank you, take care.
Thank you.
Sweet love hasn't died.
Now, we discussed this. Why didn't we adopt this? Didn't we go to public hearing on the
No.
solar code?
Nope, that's
What-
why we're
what-
here,
what
trying to get it on
happened?
the agenda to schedule for a public hearing.
All right, what happened that we didn't go to public hearing with it?
And there were some, when you presented it to the board, there were some concerns also, right? But this is just including the whole area as the, okay.
That's subsection C under
I
definitions.
don't
of
remember
lot
that there
coverage.
were any concerns, actually.
There was,
What was this for?
we were talking about the ones that move versus the changing out of solar infrastructure and things of that nature. Because the panels are much larger now, they might go into smaller, so.
Oh, solar code amendment.
So we're gonna count the whole field of solar as the lot coverage.
What this does is reduces the amount of solar panels that could be built based upon our current code. It provides more buffering next to adjoining properties, and especially adjacent to residential properties. This is consistent with the Suffolk County Planning Commission model code, and these recommendations came as a result of the planning board back in 2015.
We looked at them, and I don't know why the heck we didn't go to public hearing. I guess we just,
So we're ready to go forward.
yeah, I'm okay with it.
Commercial
And the new solar
energy
system, the
production
new-
system
No
shall
problem.
not be allowed in Polish Town.
Well, that's industrial C property all over, around in there.
With the,
I don't know whether I like that or just, like it by special permit. Although,
I have the aerial that shows that one area, if you wanna see that, what it's referring to.
Jeff, I also had concerns about the decommissioning of the solar panels. So I don't see anything in here about that, whether it be a bond or things.
That's existing in the code.
I know, but
Sean, this is the Polish Town area.
there's nothing to change, it's already in there.
Where?
Section L1,
No, it's already in the code.
It's already in the code.
282 L1.
It's addressed in the code, but this
shall remove all components thereof within 90 days, deemed abandonment or will be in violation of this section.
Okay, so this is
Not the building
this
inspector.
Polish Town?
Yeah.
That's the closest industrial area, and talk to Brad, he says that is considered to be Polish Town.
Yeah, but I don't know that there's a real, like,
Just define what Polish Town is.
I think you have to be a little bit more specific than, commercial solar energy production shall be not allowed in Polish Town.
Yeah,
I
right.
think you gotta have a,
100 years from now, they're gonna say, what the hell is Polish Town?
Let me ask you this, that's the closest area to Polish Town?
Yeah, this is in Polish Town, this is Main Street, this is Polish Town.
So,
You have to
do
be.
you have does the board want to allow solar farms in that area or not? If not, then I'll have to be more specific in terms of identifying that one industrial
no,
zone.
what I would say is that there would be no solar, is this the, agrary parcel right here? Down here? Do you know?
It's across from the,
I think it is, across from Riverhead Building Supply.
I have a.
where they have the
another-
trucks parked now, and they built that new, shed.
It's the lower right highlighted parcel.
So what I'm gonna say is that no, solar is not gonna be permitted in industrial C as depicted on these maps. Because I don't think anybody wants to see solar
No.
farms in here, solar farms in here. I wouldn't even be crazy about solar farms here. I don't know which one. That's all wetlands, isn't it?
The problem is, Sean, all of this is zoned industrial C as well.
Yeah, well, that's Calverton where
Right.
we're getting our solar capital of the,
Yeah.
Why don't we
And
say,
here's also industrial C.
why don't you say an
That's the same
industrial
as
C
this.
by special permit, industrial A
Right.
permitted as of right?
it is by special permit, but what they're trying to do is clamp down on it.
Right.
And what I'm saying is if we don't want it in here, then
I know, but there
Why don't
are
we just-
parcels that are in industrial C
Here's
that
the-
may be
Can we
appropriate.
put-
in Calverton,
Industrial C only in the Calverton area?
What'd you say, John?
Only in the Calverton area?
To limit it just to
Yes, yes, right, limit just to there.
in the Calverton, that Calverton is defined by a zip code,
Right.
and that would be, well, it's not all on this, but that would be this,
Right. Yes,
allowing it here.
yes.
Right, and it goes all the way over towards here.
And is that all the Calverton zip code?
Here's the industrial, Sean, here's a full-size map of the industrial.
So why don't we just allow solar is only permitted in industrial C located within the geographic boundaries of the Calverton zip code?
11933.
Right.
That way, come on, I don't want the entrance to Riverhead to be, not that they're gonna buy the stuff along the river, but the entrance to Riverhead to be solar farms. These guys are trying to go in any place they can,
Right.
so that would be my sense.
Yes, I would agree with you on that. Yeah.
Jeff, also, I think there should be something in here that says that a building permit is required for any changing out of any panels or building and electrical permit be required.
I think it would be because they're doing electrical work.
Yeah.
I know, but it doesn't say that in here, and if they're just taking out a panel and using the same electrical transformer, it may affect the assessment and the pilot, so I think that.
Yeah, but if it's in the building code, then it doesn't have to be in here. If we already have it in the building code, we don't have to
To
duplicate
change
it.
out solar panels?
Well,
Change out solar panels?
If you're doing electrical work, you need a permit.
yeah.
Okay, what if they're not doing electrical work and they want it, I mean, just like we had
Well,
the
you're gonna have to
antennas
do
on
electrical
the,
work.
on the water towers, and they change them out, we make
They
them
need
come in and get a
permits.
permit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can-
You need a permit.
You need a permit.
We can, Sean, we can add it in as a.
Ask Brad if they need a permit. Now,
Yes.
I can't imagine you don't need a permit when you're doing electrical work in a commercial building.
Okay.
Commercial,
I don't know, I have a solar panel farm, and I got a panel that goes down, I'm replacing it, that seems very
But I think you're probably
Well,
required.
that seems very ridiculous to me. I
But I
gotta get
think
a
it-
permit to change my panel because
That's
it's broke.
right, yeah.
Come on, give me a break.
I mean,
please.
you know, I don't want
Find out whether it's-
duplicate things.
Find out whether it's
In our
already
code.
required. It may already be required.
Not
So if
really
you're in a
say that.
commercial building and you start replacing
may
light
be.
sockets, you.
What's
supposed
next?
to
We're
get a
gonna charge people for changing a light bulb? What?
If you're in
Yeah.
a commercial
Solar
building and you
panel's a
have to
little bit
replace
different.
light switches, or you're replacing all the plug sockets, you're
Yeah.
getting a permit.
Just check, see if it's in the building code. If it's in the building
it
code,
is.
no
But-
sense of putting it in this code.
All right, what do we,
One more thing,
Out of
on
my
the,
pocket.
it says that with the decommissioning, Jeff, that it'll be assessed to their, and a lien will be put upon their property?
That's an existing code.
Okay, I'm just curious as to whether or not, if we were to put it on their assessment, if we need to get, if we've spoken to the assessors about that, because I know that you know, there's certain real property tax service on the state level that you can put on people's assessment and other things that you can't,
we already
so-
have this in our code, though.
I understand that, but I don't know if it was ever looked into before, so let's fix it. If we're
I
fixing
don't know
it,
that there's something wrong with it. We did look into this. This was
Yeah.
done with we talked to the assessors, we adopted this code. I don't
Yeah.
think there's an issue with this code.
so if it costs us $200,000 to decommission a solar farm, then we can just put it on their tax bill.
That's what the code says.
Okay, but I would just like that double checked. Laverne, Laverne, do you know?
It's in there.
The real property tax service? It's in here.
Now I know why we
it's in
didn't
here.
go to public
We can put
hearing.
anything in writing, but can we legally do it?
Let's go to public hearing. We'll
Huh?
marshal this stuff out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll follow up with the
Follow up
assessor's
with
office
the,
and get you an
town
answer.
and then
attorney's
get an
office.
answer for us, okay?
All right, so back to the one change, do we want, instead of saying Polish Town, which is not a discrete area,
Right.
are we comfortable just saying you're only allowed solar panels in industrial C located within the geographic area of the 11933 Calverton zip code?
Yeah.
And that just keeps it in Calverton.
That's it.
That way we don't have to worry about it on West Main Street, Polish Town, where does Polish Town end, where does Polish Town
Yeah,
begin?
right.
I'm with you.
And
I'm
it keeps
with
it out of where, largely just residential areas.
Yep.
That's fine.
It probably does.
There's a couple large lots in there that, not that I think they're wetlands, but there's a couple large lots in there you could probably put solar in. All right, so then take the Polish Town out, industrial C.
I'll find out
within
about the building
119,
permits.
And find out whether you need a building
I'll give a
permit.
copy of the law to Laverne, have her take a look at it.
It's not really Laverne, it's gonna be the town attorney's office to make sure that we can assess
Okay.
the decommissioning.
Okay.
All right, so let's put it up for public hearing, get it ready for, you got time, but let's get ready for the November 8th board meeting.
Yep, and this is a type 1 action, so we're gonna have the resolution coordinate to involve the agencies as well.
Okay,
Okay,
all right. That was it. We kept
Very
it
good.
short
Thank
because
you.
we didn't know how long we wanted to get to that other,
Thank you, Jeff.
thing.
You're very welcome.
What do we have, one executive session?
yep, police
Police
department.
department, oh, is that, for the interviews? Okay.
Is, Dave here? Okay,
All right, so
Let's
we'll
go.
meet in my office for a quick.
I make a motion to close the, town board work session.
Second.
Go into
All in favor?
executive session.
Aye, all in
For
favor, opposed,
personnel.
abstentions.